Well, it says we're live, so hopefully people can see
We're
us.
on.
Awesome. Um, Hi, everyone. Welcome to our very first LinkedIn Live. I'm Ashley, the co-founder and CEO of Sundays, and I'm so excited to be here with Kelly Hubbell, the founder of Sage House. Sundays is an executive assistant service for working parents. I started Sundays after talking to hundreds of parents about how hard it is to have a meaningful career and the family lives that they wanted. As we've been building Sundays, we've realized that for families to be successful, they need both the right systems and the right support behind them, which is exactly why we're talking to Kelly today. She's an expert at helping families build those systems, and I'm super excited to learn from her. Let me tell you a little bit more about her background. Kelly is a mom of three and the founder of Sage House, a platform for helping busy families reclaim their time and energy by creating home systems for the equitable division of labor and outsourcing the mental load. Her goal is to help moms on any budget get the support they deserve so they can feel more present in everything they do. Kelly's method can help busy parents find practical solutions to relieve the mental load. Her offerings include free resources to make the invisible visible, as well as digital courses, small group cohorts, which I think she just launched one, and some one-on-one bespoke services. Thank you so much for being with us, Kelly.
Pumped to be here. This is
I
great.
am so
Thanks
excited.
for having me.
Yeah, and I think we met through LinkedIn, so this is the perfect collab
We did.
opportunity.
It's real people, real things, real conversations happening on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's the place to be. Well, I would love to start by hearing a little bit more about your story and what motivated you to start Sage House.
Yeah, let's do it. So thank you for that intro. By the way, that was really kind. Yeah, well, I'm Kelly. I'll tell you about me. I'll tell you about how I started Sage House. I'll try to keep it succinct, but like just cut me off, Ash, if you think I'm going too long. But so yeah, I am a mom of three. I live in Portland, Oregon with my family. My husband is also an entrepreneur. I just recently left my corporate career in software sales. So I spent over a decade in that career. It was really great for me in the season of life that I was in. But actually today is my anniversary of Sage House. So I launched 1 year ago today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I can't believe it. It's like been the slowest year and fastest year ever. It's kind of like my kids. I'm like, wow, every day is a grind, but then how are you getting older? So that's how I feel about my business, which is my baby, which is Sage House. Funny, like when we had our third, we had two names, boy name, a girl name. And our boy name was going to be George, family name. If we had a daughter, I was going to name her Sage. And so when I went to name my business, I was like, this is my last baby, Sage. So Sage House is what it's called. Anyway, Sage House is a platform to help busy parents, typically moms. I work with a lot of moms, a lot of like career focused moms, to create home systems for a better and more equitable division of labor and to outsource the mental load. So the alignment here between us and Sundays is certainly like those two things that you just mentioned, which are systems and support. Like we need those things to help us get through our day, get through our week, like, you know, conquer our biggest goals and desires as human beings. And so that's what I'm setting out to do with Sage House. To answer your question about how did I start Sage House, like many entrepreneurs, Sage House was born from my own experience as a mom, as a working parent, feeling the intense overwhelm of the mental load of the invisible labor that I was doing to manage my household, in addition to working a full-time job. And what I ended up doing was creating better systems and like figuring out like, what the heck am I doing? Like, why is this so hard? What the heck am I doing? What do I need help with? And then going to find the right support for me and my family and doing it. And now that's basically what I'm doing, is helping families, just like Sundays is, helping families set up systems and then find and hire the right support for their family. Through, most of my clients, I help find house managers, family assistants to support them.
Yeah, I love it. And I think it's so valuable because we talk to so many parents who come and they're like in this super overwhelmed state, but they don't have the time to do what you did and develop these systems or learn systems from other people and figure out how to implement them. So I think everything that you're teaching is like exactly what the parents we work with need. Was there like a point, you said you have 3 kids. Was there like one point where things just like felt like rock bottom for you and you were like, "I need to make a change here?"
When things hit the fan when things hit the fan, it was honestly, okay, it wasn't like a specific moment. It's not like one day I was unloading the dishwasher and thought, what is this all for? It was like a lot of things. Like it felt like this pile and pile of things. And there was no like straw that broke the camel's back. It was just like I felt like I could no longer manage all of the things that needed to take place to keep my family thriving and happy and healthy and myself. Like I basically was like, I am a little bit lost. I feel like I've lost a sense of identity as a person. I can't remember the last time I had time to myself to do something that really filled my cup. And I just felt like this is not sustainable for me. Like all of the things that go into managing a household, groceries, meal planning, laundry, filling up the car with gas, taking kids places, appointments, scheduling, like all of that mental load, all of that invisible labor is just like, it took me to a point where I felt overwhelmed. After we had our second, I was really where I felt like breaking point, timeout. This is not sustainable. I felt like what I was doing was I was doing it all. I was doing what we've been told for so long, like by society and our culture, like you can do it all, you can have it all,
Yeah.
you can, you can be a super mom. Like, hello, newsflash, we don't want to be super moms anymore. We've realized that it's like not good for us. It's not good for our family. And I think we're at like a real turning point here. And so I think what I realized is like, wait, hold on. I don't need to be doing all of this. This is not healthy for me. And so I need to find solutions. Like I can't be the only one, by the way. So, like, what are the solutions that are out there? So, I basically was like set out on a quest after I had my second to like find a solution.
Yeah, I love that, and you're definitely not the only one. I think that both of us interact every day with so many people who are feeling exactly the way that you felt, and I love what you said about not needing to chase after being a super mom. I think there's, like, just people who are able to just more realistically now figure out what their goals are and then hopefully have steps like what Sage House does to find balance. What was that journey that you went on? Like, what was the first step for you in getting to where you are today?
Yeah. So, I mean, my first of all, yes, like there are solutions out there that I like found. One was like, drop the ball. You should just drop the ball and like maybe not care as much. And like that didn't work for me. I was like, I get what we're trying to do here. In theory, this sounds lovely, but like I am not the kind of person to just like let laundry pile up or like not check my mailbox or. So that wasn't a solution for me. The fair play method I looked into, my husband and I did it. We worked together. I feel like it was like the very starting point of that like division of labor, collaboration, like equitability. However, where I feel like the fair play method, like I think could go to the next level, which is what I'm doing with Sage House, is my hypothesis. And like I'm interested in what other parents are saying who are maybe on right now. But like my hypothesis is, even if you are lucky enough to have a partner, by the way, like not everyone has a partner. There are a lot of single parents out there who need help and more support. But even if you have a partner and you are both like high executive functioning, smart, educated, like you mean well, you want to have this like incredible team at home, like even if you have two people that are like, top of their game, there still are not enough hours in the day
Yeah.
to get it all done, to make it all work, especially when you add kids, pets, house, cars, like all of the things that like fill us up and make us really happy and like feel like we have a life of abundance. Like there just aren't enough hours in the day. So what I did, my solution was like what I do when I feel overwhelmed, which in my past life, I was an accountant and an auditor. So like I did a life audit of what are all of the things in my like that I'm doing today that are taking my time. So I made this massive list with a spreadsheet and it's like I allocated time to all of those things and I allocated like my level of joy, if you will. Like,
Mhm.
do I like doing this thing or do I hate doing this thing? And I added up all the time I was spending. I was managing our household, and it was 22 hours a week on top of my full-time job that I was spending. And what I did was, this is like a long-winded answer to your question, but like what I did was I made the invisible. I got it all out of my brain and I made it visible. So like step one, get it all out and share it with your partner if you have one. Like these are all the things I'm doing to manage our household on top of raising the kids or working a full-time job or however you're spending your day. Like this is the invisible thing. So like step one was like, I got to get this out there. And you know what? I'll never forget what my partner said to me when I shared this list was, this looks like a job description. This looks like a job description. And I just looked at him and I said, that's because it is. It's a job description. And we need to find someone to take things off of both of our plates. And like, we need to create a new plate at the table and we need to start putting things on that plate. And so that's what we did. And, that was like the intro to my own journey. And now like, that's what I'm helping other busy parents do is like make their invisible visible. That's like step one.
Yeah, I love what you said about the time audit. I actually just did this like a month ago because I was feeling it with work and home stuff. I was just feeling so overwhelmed and I was like, I need I need to delegate, but I don't even know what to delegate. So this exercise that you just said is so powerful. I just like
Mhm.
I wrote basically every like 30 minutes for a couple of days, like what was I doing? And then I ranked it on like, is this important? And do I like get joy or energy from doing these things? And I would say it's like one of the best exercises I've ever done because it makes you realize like where you want to be spending your time and then things that you can actually some things you can just like give up entirely. You can be like, actually I don't need to do that. And then it gives you that job description. Did you use your list as your actual job description?
Pretty much, I did, yes, but so Ash, I totally agree with you because, what's interesting and the fact that you mentioned this time on it, I actually was just listening to a book, like Audible book called Uptime, which is all about time management, and it's a great book. It's written by a woman who like helped run time management at Google for a long time. I want to say her name's Laura Sinclair. I could be getting that wrong. I should look, but one thing like we do often is we do these time audits for like our career and our business and our work life,
Mhm.
right? That's what I'm seeing. Like we are super dedicated to creating like operations and systems in our business.
Yeah.
And like, when it comes to hiring someone, like hiring an employee or someone on our team, like we're really good about like documenting roles and responsibilities, setting expectations, but like we're not doing that in our home. Like we're just not. So like if we can just start to take some of the principles of that we're using in our day-to-day work
Yeah.
and bring it into our home, then like it's same.
Yeah, I love that, and I think that I think for a lot of people, it's just, like, finding the time to do it because that's the type of, like, homework, if you will, that's, like, it's important, but it's never urgent, and it's like doing the dishes is urgent, picking up the toys so you don't trip on them
Huh?
is urgent, like, this type of systematizing doesn't feel urgent to people most times, but I think what I try to talk to people about is, like, if you add up all the time that you're repeatedly doing these things that are not super valuable to you, you're actually gonna like, that's so much more time than the hour or 2 it would take for you to, like, think about what system might work for you or work with Sage House and have it kinda done for you, which is even better.
Yes, or work with Sundays and have someone help you do it. Okay,
Yeah.
so agree. I think this is actually a really commonality I see with clients or like busy moms. They're like, "Well, I'm better at it," or like, "Oh, I'll just do it really quick. It won't take
Mhm.
me as long to do it." But this is like the act of delegating, which again, we're really good at work. We're good at delegating. We're good at saying like, this is how I want something done. This is the way I would like it done. Please, or like this needs to get done. Please find a way to get it done. But with our home, we think that somehow like us doing things like unloading dishwashers, doing laundry, these things that like we think that like we're the only one that can do them, but like that's not the case. Like someone else could do your laundry. Like, sure, you have a specific way you want to like wash your jeans on cold inside out, but like you can tell someone else that you want
Yeah.
your jeans washed that way. And like it's okay. And they will do that for you because they also want to be really good at their job. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
delegating up front and like setting these systems up front can like basically buy your future you a lot more time and energy and mental space, which I think is a whole, a whole other concept. Like it's not about, I think you'll agree with me here, like it's not about the time that you are saving by having someone else schedule haircut appointments or flu shot appointments for you, like I did yesterday. It's about like you thinking about 20 times before you have to reschedule haircuts and flu shots
Yeah.
that you haven't done it yet. So like
Hmm.
that's taking up space that you could otherwise be spending like doing some deep flow work that is like career focused or focused on your family or like planning a really fun vacation or like, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
not just about the time, it's about the mental load.
Yeah. 100%. Okay. I want to get more into like how you get people to do things right, but just to set the stage, what's your support setup now? And is there kind of like a spectrum that you recommend to the parents that you work with?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So great question. So what is my setup and what is the spectrum that I recommend? My setup looks like this. And this is sort of like how I got my feet wet with outsourcing and then what it looks like today. Um we started outsourcing, I think how very many dual income working households do, which is cleaning. We were like, I was actually like 38 weeks pregnant, couldn't even like tie my shoes, much less like clean a floor. So I was like, all right,
Yeah.
it's time. We got to figure this out. And like we were renting a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown Portland, living on one income, which was my income. My husband was starting a business, but we still were like, this is worth it to us. So like we're going to hire cleaners. And by the way, our society and culture tells us like, oh, that's okay. You can outsource that. You can outsource cleaning. Like that's an
Hmm.
okay thing to do. Okay. Then once we had our first, my son, what I very quickly realized was I wanted to be spending weekends as a family because that time was already so limited. Like that the weeks like were just flying by. I wasn't able to really spend like time as a family. And what that meant was I kind of had to say goodbye to doing my weekend meal prep, grocery shopping, meal planning, all of that. And so what we decided then was like, hey, maybe we could hire someone for 4 to 5 hours a week to come into our apartment, batch cook a bunch of food for our family that we can
Yeah.
eat throughout the week. And like that would be super helpful for us. And so that's what we did. Ended up finding like a culinary student who wanted a side hustle for a couple hours a week. And so that's what we did. Then fast forward to we had 2 kids. We now have a house manager. She works for our family about 20 hours a week. We started really small though. We hired a house manager to help me with all of those other things like laundry, grocery shopping, running errands, doing returns, helping me with home organization projects. And we started at like 8 hours a week and then slowly expanded her role. So that's kind of like what my village is today and setup is today. I would say like for like most, especially dual income working households, I would say start with 5 hours a week. Just see what kind of like relief from the mental load that gives you. And that could certainly be a virtual executive assistant, like at Sundays, like taking off like the meal planning, having someone at least plan for you and create that grocery list or like, and have create your grocery delivery for you,
Yeah.
doing all of the appointments, doing scheduling, booking travel, like all of those things that like someone could even do virtually for you is like a huge lift. So start there. I would say like start small. And then like if this is really working for you and your family and your budget, like continue to outsource and to offload. And I think what I've found is being an entrepreneur, solopreneur, like my time right now is being spent growing my business, and every hour I can spend growing my business is like an investment in my future. And so every hour that I'm spending doing something else that's not helping me grow my business is like a huge opportunity cost.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. I read the book Buy Back Your Time recently, and but they do like a monetary calculation where they're like, if your hour is worth $100 and like anybody you're paying less than $100, like you're making money on that hour. I think as an entrepreneur, sometimes it's hard because you're like, well, I'm not making as much money as I would want to make yet. But
Yeah,
I think that like investing in the future and thinking about like how much is that hour lost, especially an hour that is like taking your energy, like an hour. If it's an hour like playing with your kids, like that probably gives you a lot of energy and motivates you to do things in the future. But if it's an hour of like matching socks, like maybe that's not exactly exactly
totally.
giving you energy. What are some of your favorite things to delegate? I love the things that you mentioned. Those are some of the things that we really like at Sundays, like those recurring and like nagging things where you're like, I need to schedule a dentist appointment. I need to schedule a dentist appointment over and over
Mhm.
again. Like we love those things where we can like actually take off the mental load and we're like, we'll just do this again for you in 6 months. Like you never have to think about it again. But what
Mhm.
are some of the things that you enjoy delegating?
Yeah, everything. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I feel like we delegate big things and little things, and the fact is like they all add up. So like some of the things I'll tell you, like my house manager is helping me with today. I'll tell you, she's coming soon. She's actually shifted her hours today because she also provides childcare for us, like babysits when we need. And it happens to
Yeah.
be back to school night tonight. So she's coming soon. She is going to run errands for me to do some returns. She's dropping off our bike at the repair shop because we like broke the derailleur, uh, towing our burly, as one would.
Yeah.
And then she's helping me with this organization project right now because we had like an entire Lego explosion. So she's helping me do that. She'll throw in a load of laundry. She's going to fill up the car with gas on her way back. She's going to pick up my son from daycare because it's like on her route back. She'll probably stop and grab groceries. Like we're out of bananas and that's on our like standing grocery list. Like she will fill up the humidifiers in the kids' room before bed tonight. Like, she's helping me like just she's another set of hands. She's like helping me do things. And that's amazing. Like she'll probably take our dog on an afternoon walk because I already took him on his morning walk, but I've got to go pick up kids and he needs another walk, So we're just
Yeah.
like a team.
I love that. And I love, like, the diversity of things that she's helping with and, like, that you've been able to build trust with her in all those areas. I would love to get super tactical, like, how do you actually hand these things off to your house manager? How does she know what she's gonna do for you on any given day?
I love getting tactical, Ash. And this is the systems part. And by the way, like I just opened enrollment on Monday of this week for my fall home systems cohort. So I have a small group of busy moms who get together and talk about creating these systems. Because, like we said, step one is like create the systems and the routines and like how do you want to manage your home? And that way, once you have them built and like they work, you can delegate them and say like
Yeah,
here's our playbook, here's our house manual of like how our home works. So what we have, for example, is a daily checklist of like all of the things that need to happen on a daily basis. These are things that are like emptying the coffee grinds, taking out the garbage, taking out the compost, walking the dog, we have a laundry schedule of like, here's the laundry schedule for the week that she follows. We have a like weekly checklists that are like more things like watering plants, vacuuming certain rooms. Like one day a week is like our errands and returns day. So we have like a weekly sort of here's the things that need to happen on a weekly basis. We don't really care what day they happen, but they have got to happen weekly. We have that built out for like a monthly basis, things like oiling cutting boards and like descaling the coffee machine and doing stuff like that. And then like seasonal chore lists too. And our
yeah.
seasonal chore lists even include things that are like more like home maintenance and like changing out like air filters in your home, cleaning gutters, like making sure you're doing a lot of home maintenance. And those are things that my house manager just makes sure that like we're scheduling a handyman to come and do
Mhm.
and help us in our home. So like again, a virtual assistant could totally help you like with those scheduling of things. Um, so we've got lists, we've got routines, we have like checklists and essentially like a manual playbook for like our family that we use, which by the way, we're integrating now into Maple. I know you're a big fan of Maple.
Yeah, we
And
love maple.
yeah, and we're starting to use that in my home, and everyone in my home systems cohort who's setting up these same systems in their home gets 6 months access to Maple, their like premier, so that they can, integrate calendars and like have all your to-do lists and have all your plans and everything in folders in Maple, which really helps to create those systems.
Yeah, I love that. I think we love Maple. We work actually through Maple with quite a few customers, which is really fun. So we can both help them have everything in one place, but also like even keep track of their stuff with Sundays that they're doing there. Um, what's your process of like training a new house manager? Like I think you mentioned having like you like your jeans washed inside out on cold. Like how do you make sure that they do things like the right way or as close to the way that you would do them as possible?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all about sort of like onboarding them and walking them through and having them shadow you on your own home systems and like how you do things in your home. So like what I recommend to all of my clients and everyone who attends my cohort, who also like in my cohort, part of that is giving them all of the tools and all of the templates they need to go and hire their own house manager, family assistant, meal prep chef, like interview questions, questions for references, employment agreement, onboarding materials. So like my recommendation is like do a 30-day trial period where you make sure that you're walking through with them and having them shadow you on like how you want things done and making sure that there's a really clear feedback loop on like a daily and weekly basis, especially as you're getting someone started, so that you can give feedback on like, thanks for doing it this way. Here's how I would have done it. Or, hey, I really liked the way you did that, so on and so forth. So I think it's about like having really clear communication, having, opportunity for feedback and being really clear about the roles and expectations. I think where most like relationships fall off. I had a client she actually is now a client, but one of the reasons she told me, she was like, my last house manager didn't work out for me. I need help. I'm like, well, did you have like a list for her? She's like, she never restocked the diapers. I'm like, well, was that on the list of things that she was supposed to do? She's like, well, no, I never really made one. I'm like, well, let's set everybody up for success here. Like, let's make sure,
Yeah.
that like everyone knows what their role is, like when we need diapers, where do we order them from? Like, will that person order them or will they tell you that like we need more diapers and please order them from Target? So I think it's just about like setting up roles and responsibilities, setting up your lanes, making sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, do you recommend any sort of like standard communication, like a quick weekly check-in or something like that? I feel like that's where sometimes this feedback cycle can get really awkward because people are like, well, like she's leaving right now. I don't want to interrupt her or like things
Yes.
like that.
Yes, I recommend weekly meetings at the beginning of the week, which are typically like for us, they're on Mondays because Sunday nights is when I have my collaboration team meeting with my partner. So me and my husband on Sunday night, we get together, we talk logistics about the week ahead, and then we talk about like kind of our ongoing to-do list. And from out of this meeting, I also like incorporate my own, like, okay, what do I have going on this week? What do I need help with? And then by Monday, I have a really clear idea of like, here are like the top priorities for what we need for the week that I can communicate to my house manager. And that really helps her plan her week too, because I feel like
Yeah.
in most situations, like a family assistant, house manager, or like a virtual assistant, like it's not a matter of things getting done necessarily on a deadline. It's that they have to get done, but like, let's help people figure out like what needs to get done so that they can plan their time accordingly.
Yeah, I love that. Um, we talked a little bit about this, but obviously it's an investment for people to bring some like a house manager, other types of support into their home. How do you think about the math of that when you talk to families?
Yeah. So I will start by saying that I absolutely believe and understand wholeheartedly that having any type of support isn't absolutely a privilege. Like, I think that like there's no way around saying that like if you have support, even if it's unpaid, like you have a family member, that is a huge privilege. Like that is amazing for you. For me and our family in particular, like it was an investment in our season of life that we realized we need help. We decided to be like a dual income working household. And that was part of like our decision on how were we going to do this and how are we going to make it work for us and for our family. And so I think it's just a matter of like, number one, figuring out how to fit things into your budget and thinking about like how it impacts your life satisfaction. And then I will also say like there are a lot of creative ways to utilize your resources, utilize your community, get help and ask for help. And that's why like I truly believe that like finding and your village can be way more affordable and attainable, than people think. Also, I think starting small, I will say like I've crunched the numbers and my family like legitimately saves money every week by having a meal, like someone help us prepare our meals, because not only am I paying that person on an hourly basis for like a time I would otherwise be spending prepping food for our family, and there's an opportunity cost there, but we have way less food waste because I'm not going to the grocery store and
Yeah.
having this massive grocery bill and then like food goes bad. No, we eat everything that's in our fridge because it's prepared for us. She somehow buys groceries. Like she's so much more efficient than I am. So like we spend less money on food and we eat it all, and we spend way less than like going out to eat, getting takeout, stuff like that. So like especially the food portion is like, to me, a time saver and a huge money saver, more so than I think people think.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. We've actually, for quite a few clients, we've like calculated how much they spend on DoorDash every month as
Yeah.
in comparison to hiring someone to help them to cook. And it's always so much more expensive. And you don't always realize it because it's like you're just doing it a little bit at a time. Like every night it's $100 or something like that. But um as that adds up, like $100 a day is like thousands of dollars every month when you could be spending a lot less.
Yes, and I think you make a good point, which is like we are outsourcing already. Like there are a lot of things that we're doing. Like we're spending money on grocery delivery or DoorDash deliveries or laundry outsourcing. They're like, WAG and like walking our dog. And there's like
Hmm.
all of these things that like if you actually added them all up, perhaps you could save money by like having one person, like a virtual assistant or a house manager, or family assistant helping your family.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, I want to wrap us up. I would love to hear a little bit more about these cohorts that you are starting. I know there's one with signups open right now. Can you give us a little overview?
Yes, I will. And I'll share my screen really quickly because I want to show that. Can you see? Oh, hold on. Can you see this screen? Because I know I wanted to share a discount code with the folks on the call today to sign up for the home
Mhm.
systems cohort. But um, the home systems cohort is a 6-week program. We meet for 1 hour a week. It's a small group. The calls happen live. I think it's hopefully sharing now, but the
Yeah.
calls are live, but they're all recorded. So you get calls same day if you can't make it, with all of the templates. So I was talking about that like home systems playbook. Like here are all the systems in our home. We go in depth through each one: laundry, meal planning, meal prep, grocery, pantry lists. Like what are our routines? What are our packing lists for our family? Like what are all the things that we need to keep our household running, and we set up systems. And then I also teach the Sage House method of finding and hiring your village. So all the way from making the invisible visible, budgeting, creating a job description, and then posting your job and finding someone, interviewing, doing reference checks, and then hiring someone and onboarding them into your home. So like that is everything I do when I work one-on-one with someone to help them find a house manager. There are a lot of people out there who are like, Kelly, this is awesome, but I don't even have the bandwidth. Can you find me a house manager or a meal prep chef? And I do a couple of those per month. But this is kind of like how I'm teaching people how to fish, which
Yeah.
is the home systems cohort. So this fall cohort kicks off in October. It wraps up before Thanksgiving. My goal is to help get you more support before the holidays. And so that's what the cohort is.
I love it. And if you're watching right now, you can use the discount code Sundays15 to get a discount. I think this is just like the perfect thing because so many parents that I talk to just don't have the time to figure out these systems on their own. And I think just like using systems built by smart people like you, Kelly, is like the way to go when you can. So highly recommend checking this out.
And there's
I think that,
accountability factor, totally, for sure. Like, I think we need to set aside that time. Otherwise, we won't do it on our own.
yeah, 100%. And I think like being able, it's not just you either. It's like bringing all of these other people, your whole cohort together to hear and learn from them too. So,
Yeah.
um, I'm sure it's amazing, and I hope we get some Sundays people there too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I am so grateful, Kelly, for you sharing all of your learnings and your time today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this was really fun. I'm glad that we got to do this. And I'm really looking forward to just like continuing to support each other in our joint mission of helping parents get time back and like feel more present in what they're doing and sort of like reclaim their self-identity, because I truly believe like we're at a turning point where like busy parents, busy moms are like putting their foot down and they're like, no thanks, no more, I need help. And I think that's like really empowering and inspiring. And I think the work that you're doing is really important. So thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm so excited to collaborate on helping more moms live the lives that they want and also make big impacts in the world that we live in today. So thank you so much, Kelly. I will see you on LinkedIn and talk to you soon.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.